I created from nothing, as a magician would without ingredients. Just abracadabra, kaboom, the magic wand, the pen and the word, writing, head bent forward, scribbling, cussing, crumbling papers, scratching, hand moved involuntary like a true conjurer. My heart, 'twas jovial, unbroken, my mind, clear and open. And from the lyrical reincarnation, a new spirit awoken. It fluttered, fleeted, fumbled, and thrust itself into my reader's heart, and became my reader's essence, that it haunted pleasantly those that read the works of poetic justice. Abracadabra, kaboom, a new spirit awoke and thrust itself into my reader's heart.
Yes, I did it. I became God's image. Because in my lines, I'm the biblical porter. Yeah, I created them from fractures of simple thoughts. No fruit to open their eyes, no serpent to cause them demise. Just them, their love and sunrise. I couldn't paint love between them. Not even love shall come between them. They are one. My Adam and Eve, I made them. Adamant and brief, I painted. In words untainted and eloquently brief. Never out of ribs I painted Eve. The satisfaction of two united, conjured by my own magic of color. I reflect Allah. Yet I cannot separate myself from my own creations. I am them. So ungodlike. The feeling of 6 days of divine art, 9 months of laden wombs of thoughts, and this piece is born.
There was a bright star that hanged from heaven. In the dark sky of the night, in the grassy village, the fireflies graced the bushes. It was hardly after 7. At the sight of this hallowed light, I engaged in a rather small pilgrimage and went to the moonlit river to bathe in its saintly glamour. I crossed a huge hut that belonged to a grumpy old farmer. Into the silent bushes, I hummed a little tune to put the ghosts away, and followed a path that was lit by a bright velvet ray, down the river bank to the tree that nested the little buds of May, when I was struck in awe and my jaws dropped with a thud. I could have picked them up, of course, and replaced them back, but like one who has seen a snake that is beautiful to behold and fearful to revere, I was frozen by the most beautiful thing, so queer and bold, to ever grace my village at this hour that was odd. She was the poetic African fairy in my grandpa's stories, perhaps the very lady whose beauty made the great Luanda Magere sorry. She had fair skin, smooth and brown like freshly uprooted yums, dark hair, straight face and long arms, complemented by shiny, delicate palms. The people of the city would easily say that she looked like a splash of chocolate. One glance of her boring eyes would freeze a local late. The white paint embroidery on her face resembled a masterpiece of a butterfly. My eyes rolled down, stealing from her shoulders high, extending to her attentive breast. Below, her legs were a perfect design of art, as if they were descriptions from a poetic justice poetry. They were brazen, long, and protruding. They could make her fly. Her dark hair and the tall legs represented an image of a rowan tree, and she scooped the water from the river, hands moving so perfectly as if the gods were weaving the clouds. She must have come from the hanging star, I muttered. Could she be the goddess of the galaxies? Could she be the one the city people call Miss Universe? There was a bright star that hanged from heaven in the dark sky of the night, in the grassy village.
The Storyteller by Poetic Justice.
I'm that bird perched silently on a branch and watched everything as it came to pass. I'm that boy who lived in an abandoned and gloomy ranch, somewhere beyond and around that land of grass. I'm that old man who came from the forest every dusk with a broken staff to tell a story, and not to be seen again for many days and many, many nights, perhaps until the reborn of another story. That man with ragged skin and hairy breast, he wore a brown and smooth goatskin vest and sat by the furious flaming fire and harangued an ancient tale of Mrambaba and the secret admirer. I'm the ghost that stood by and whispered everything as it unfolded, as the days like foxes were very sly and the years like elephant trotted by. I came from an ancient time and space. Some call me Peter the Great Witness, while others say I'm a born storyteller by face. But I'm just a storyteller. If traveling was free, like the glorious journey of Albatross, if I could sail across unknown harbors and foreign seas, if I could ever in many places be, like a pirate of no fixed abode, like a rider on a horse humming a favorite tune about the ancestral ghosts, down a brisk and endless road, then you would never see me again. For I shall disappear into the dusty plains, down the valley, into the road that bends, and into the forest where my homeland ends. I shall be known as Captain Manyface, on a ship to Madagascar. I shall carry a seafaring case and a few clothes and 50 bottles of Tusker. I shall glide in Godspeed and perch on Raspberry Branch in Yorkshire. If only this were true, I would kiss you once and not again. I would bid you goodbye and raise my cowboy hat and hope that I don't die before I return home to the dwelling of my heart. I fondle with the darling memories of that place. Tears kiss my smiled lips. I relive every one of them, every day, in my little diaries. Far, far away in those fields, among the greenery, among the flowers and the wild berries, she stood and graceful like an African fairy. Ah, and the crescent had fallen on her darling face and smiled the darkness away gently at the two stars that came from space and glistened below her eyebrows. The flowers bowed before her grace. She was La Dame de l'Amour. She was Elizabeth, the sporty girl, in loving nostalgia of the fondest days. Poetic justice.
I look into your eyes, deep, deep into your starry eyes. I see faint galaxies of faded stars, like spring without sunrise, a strangled light that struggles to shine, and little specks of dreadful scars. For you, my darling, the gift has not been kind. I can hear the noise of your silence rumbling. I can hear the voice in your troubled mind. I can gather for you the words you struggle to mumble. I know there was hyena in your jungle. I know what you've done. I sense your unpardonable sin. I know you have slept yet with another man. But darling, I spare you the mumbo jumbo. I forgive you for laying with him, for betraying me with Phil. Yet I cannot forget how you stabbed me for the third time without remorse within your heart, without regret.
The man that forgave you and forgave you twice. I can only understand your guilt. I cannot forget. No, forget. No, I cannot forget. Well, I feel guilty too. Only a little thrice hurt by you and threefold murder at you. That I did not in all occasions betray you too. But I couldn't bring myself to do that to you, not even in my damnest of days. You have put me into eternal shame. I hate you forever and many days. I always thought I was your Christ and romantic father. Although you seem to glory to the occasion of my demise, without mercy you crucify me, Father. A comrade of the snake and daughter of Jezebel, with skin so fair and eyes so hazel. You tossed my heart like a childish game, and I picked it up smashed and resolved to forget even your rubbish name. These broken pieces I must save for another, for I must love again. Well, I guess this is where the fork on the road rests, for we must go on separate paths, carry our scars and broken hearts along miles of long spell of bitterness, until time nurses, wounds heal and sun rises. If you take the left, I shall take the right. I shall leave, I shall not wait for the light. Adios, amigo. Goodbye, my friend.